Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on Top Shelf Oldies. I want to welcome you to the November 30th, 2019 Vinyl Treasure Show. It's the last Saturday of the month. That means it's my all 1960s show, all 45s from 1964 to 1969. I think I have one from 71 and a couple from 1963, but basically from that time period. And hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I ate too much, and really the last couple days I've spent it in the Verizon store. Finally got a new phone, a new Android, but I'm here to spin all my 60s 45s. We're leaning soul tonight. Lots of soul 45s on tonight's show. But we opened up with pianist Ernie Freeman with a 1965 updated version of his 1957 cover of the Bill Justice tune Raunchy. And it was called Raunchy 65. It's on Fred Astaire's Ava label, December 64 release. Ernie Freeman, Raunchy 65. Pretty cool reworked version of that tune. Well, enough of my babbling here. Let's open it up here with the vocal portion with a group from Dallas, Texas. It's their first of 3 releases on the Smash label. This one bubbled under at number 130, but was number 23 on WAME out of Miami, Florida. Let's go to August of 1966 on the Smash label. We open up with the Festivals with their tune called Music. That's a cool tune to open up the vocal portion of the Vinyl Treasure Show. August 66, they're called The Festivals. The Festivals on the Smash record label. That's their first of 3. A song entitled Music. That's what Johnny G is going to be playing tonight. All 60s music. A lot of soul records out of my collection. But this group would have later releases on the Blue Rock label, also on the Colossus label. As we continue here now, this next 45 used to bring big bucks to the Northern Soul collectors. Now, this singer goes by the name of E.J. Chandler, and he had an earlier release on the Gray Sounds label in 66, but this was his next release on the SOS label, a subsidiary of Gray Sounds. It's SOS stands for Sounds of Soul. I posted this one up on my Facebook wall. You can check it out. So let's give a listen to E.J. Chandler here, April 67 on the Sound of Soul label. It's called I Can't Stand to Lose You.
I can't stand to lose you, baby. I can't stand to lose you. I can't stand to lose you. Yeah. All of the time we got together, and I know you care.
April 67 release there. E.J. Chandler's his name. I Can't Stand to Lose You is the name of the tune. Came out on the Sound of Soul label. And that's a cool tune. Lucky to get that one for 10 cents. I used to sell for a lot of bucks there. But, you can get those records from those doo-wop collectors. Those group harmony collectors were selling records like that pretty cheaply when I first started collecting back in the late 1970s. We continue here on the All 60s edition. Have a few flip sides from a few of the 60s vinyl treasure shows of the past, maybe the last 3 or 4 months. And a number of months ago, I opened up one of the shows with a group called the Dramatics on the Cracker Jack label, a song entitled Hello Summer. Now, this Dramatics group was out of Detroit, Michigan. Let's give a spin to the flip side. It features Harry Lee Gates on lead. This one from September 63. A touch of 63 here, the Dramatics on Cracker Jack. It's called Toy Soldier. They're called the Dramatics. They're out of the Dramatics out of Detroit, Michigan. September 63 release on the Cracker Jack label, one of the thousands of labels your host Johnny G collects. Toy Soldier is the name of that one as we continue here. Now here's a 45 my late Aunt Mary purchased in the fall of 1965 as we stay in Detroit, Michigan with the Great Temptations. It's the B-side to their 12th of 51 releases, believe it or not, on Berry Gordy Jr.'s Gordy record label. Now, the A-side of this was called My Baby, but the flip side charted also number 83 on Billboard, 78 on Cashbox, number 15 on the R&B charts, but this was a big number one record on WJMO out of Cleveland, Ohio. This one from September 65, it features Paul Williams on lead. These are the Temptations with Don't Look Back.
That you're running from, there's no hiding place. You can't run, you can't hide, you can't run. Love has problems, I know, but they're problems we'll just have to face. Oh yeah. If you just put your hand in mine, we're gonna leave all our troubles behind. Keep on walking, don't look back. Don't look back. broke your heart, there's something that can be done. Don't end your faith in love because of what he's done. So if you just put your hand in mine, we're gonna leave all our troubles behind. Keep on walking, don't look back. Don't look good about the past now. Don't look back, baby. Keep on walking and don't look back. Past is behind you, let me remind you. Love can be a beautiful thing, though your first love let you down. Oh yeah, 'cause I know we can make love grow, baby, the second time around. Oh yeah. So if you just put your hand in mine, we're gonna leave all our troubles behind. Keep on pushing, don't look back. Now but I say we won't look back, yeah. Keep on walking and won't look back. Forget about the past now, baby, and don't look back, baby, 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 don't look back.
Those are great Temptations there. The Temptations on the Gordy label. Don't Look Back is the name of the tune. The flip side of their A-side, My Baby. Paul Williams on lead, September 1965 release. That's a 45 my aunt purchased back in 1965. Hopefully some of you were able to finally see that tribute I did for my aunt last Saturday. YouTube a pain in the behind, because I knew when I came back up to check to see if the show was posted, they said that my show was shut down worldwide because of two records that I think I mentioned it, the Dubs 45, Don't Ask Me to Be Lonely, and a Robert and Johnny record, a hit of theirs, We Belong Together. I said, are you kidding me? So I was able to get the Robert and Johnny off. Then they said it was able to be viewed in the UK and a couple other nations, but not my largest audience, which was in the U.S. and a couple other areas, which I was actually surprised. Took me all week to get that other record off. I said, you got to get this record off. And I guess somebody did, and then it finally posted. Anyway, enough of my babbling here. And Charlene says the color is a little blue on the screen. Does it look blue to you guys? I can't tell from my viewpoint anyway. But anyway, enough of my babbling here. Let's go on here. This next song's a great dancing tune. This gal from North Philadelphia, she had 3 releases on the Academy record label, and this is her first, and this is the easiest of the 3 to find. A song so very much sounding like a Motown sound. It might remind you of Martha and the Vandellas hit Heat Wave. Let's go to July of 64. Ann Byers here. Ann Byers on Academy with her tune called Dead End.
Stop it, my heart is telling me there's a dead end straight ahead. This boy don't care for you, he'll only give you tears to shed. If you travel his road to love, you'll find that it's a dead end. Hold it, my heart
Yeah, we got to work off all those calories that Thanksgiving Day brought us, that's for sure. Ann Byers there, July 1964. That's the first of three on the Academy record label, song entitled Dead End. I am missing her third release, which I understand doesn't even sound anything like that record. I have her second one, Here I Am, is harder to find than this one, but I don't have her last one. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool 1960s tunes. How about a twin spin up next as we head out to Chicago, Illinois, for the younger brother of Jerry Butler. That would be Billy Butler. He had 7 releases on the OK record label. Here's his first, arranged by Johnny Pate. Now, his group for this one are called the Four Enchanters, and we'll follow this one up with his third release on OK. So got a twin spin coming up for Billy Butler. We open it up first from August 63, Billy Butler and the Four Enchanters on OK. It's called Lady Love.
Baby really loves me. I wonder if my baby places no one above me. Though sometimes she makes me doubt her. If I find she's not true, there's nothing I can do, 'cause I just can't live without her. I just can't live without her. I wonder if my baby really cares, yeah. I wonder if my baby would really, really dare to leave. Oh yeah. I've heard what they say about her, but I don't care what they say. I'll love her anyway, 'cause I just can't live without her. I just can't live without her. Once she left me all alone, I pretended I was glad that she was gone. I said that in a day or two I'd find someone I love more than you. But even live without her. I see I just can't live without her. Now listen to me. Yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause my baby really, really loves me.
That was a twin spin for Billy Butler. Billy Butler and the Four Enchanters. On that one, it was Billy Butler and the Chanters, July 64. That's his third of 7, charted number 22 on WVON out of Chicago, Illinois. And this release, they were known as Billy Butler and the Chanters. Now, another release, they had other releases that would follow this one on Brunswick, Mercury, Pride, Memphis, and MGM. And earlier, we heard the first of 7 releases for Billy Butler called Lady Love. Lady Love there, August 63 on the OK record label. A twin spin here on the All 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show. I'll have another twin spin coming up a little later for another artist you all know. So let's continue here for this next singer by the name of Benjamin Earl Nelson. But you all know him as Benny King, and he left the Drifters for a solo career in 1960. He had 33 releases that came out on the Atco record label. And here's his 19th. This one charted number 84 on Billboard, 24 on the R&B chart, number 10 on WSID out of Baltimore, Maryland. Let's go back to March of 1965 for Ben E. King with his tune called The Record, parentheses, Baby, I Love You.
Just put a quarter in now to have this record made. I only have 2 minutes, baby, to tell you how much I love you. And when you hear this record playing, I hope it's clear when I say, baby, baby, I love you. Baby, yes, I do. Thousand miles from home. Play this record when you're all alone. Play it low, play it and listen. Close your eyes, pretend we're kissing, baby. Baby, I love you. Baby, yes I do. Longing to kiss. Girl, you know I do. Baby, I need. Baby, yes I do. Just went on in here. I guess that my time is up, dear. A second more to say goodbye and say I'll always be your guy. Baby, baby, I love you. Yes, I do. Longing to kiss. Girl, you know I do. Baby, I need. Baby, yes, I do.
That's Benny King. Benny King on the Atco label from March 1965. It's called The Record, parentheses, Baby, I Love You. That's the name of the tune now. This was also covered by H.B. Barnum on Capitol. He does a nice rendition of that too. Now, Ben's last hit was in 1975, a 45 that I purchased on the Atlantic label called Supernatural Thing, believe it or not. In 1986, his tune Stand By Me was re-released for the movie by the same title, and I remember that too. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hi-Fi Tim says he's going to steal my Billy Butler record. He's going to steal feel that Billy Butler and the Chanters Can't Live Without You. Well, mine has a BB hole in it, Tim, so if I know you're going to take this photograph, I'm going to know you got my copy. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening spinning original vinyl 45s as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. This next artist was only 13 years old when we recorded this tune, and it's his only release as we go to Morris Levy's Roulette record label, written by Christopher B. Allen, who would later become the founding member of a 70s group called The Shades of Brown, if anybody knows that group. Let's go to July of 1969. His name is Little Jimmy Gandy. It's on Roulette Records. It's called I'm Not Like the Others. That's what I'm always telling Barbara. That's Little Jimmy Gandy there. July 1969 on the Roulette record label. I'm Not Like the Others is the name of that one. Sounds like a Chicago sound to me. Sound a little bit like a Billy Stewart record there. Anyway, Johnny G's here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool 1960s 45s. We do it on the last Saturday of every month. And let's continue here. We head to Los Angeles, California for this next group on the Mercury label. They're called the Citations. Now, this song written by Harry Nilsson and John Mariscalco. And it's possible that Harry Nilsson is doing lead. I'm not sure. Maybe you know his voice better than I do. But the backup vocals on this are really by a group called the Electras, which included Chester Pipkin, Billy Mann, and Billy Storm. They are in the background here. This one from May 64. Give a listen to the Citations on the Mercury label. Let's send it out all to those of you listening in the Chicago area. A song entitled Chicago.
Well, 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 well. Yeah, Chicago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My hometown. Yeah, 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 Chicago. Little girls walking around. Well, if you're looking for a kick to Route 66 to Chicago. Yeah, Chicago. When the sun goes down. friend. And for the south side, it's just a little ride to Chicago. A wailing sax, a kicking band, two chicks on my arms, that's why I'm staying where I am in Chicago. Swing this time around. If you can't afford a plane, you better hitchhike if you can to Chicago. Let me hear now. Wailing sax, a kicking band, two chicks on my arms, that's why I'm staying where I am in Chicago. I'm in my hometown. Oh, if you can't afford a plane, you better get back if you came to Chicago. Whoa, Kansas City or Cicero, not Philadelphia or Baltimore, not St. Louis, take me what did I say? Not even Frisco by the Frisco Bay. Chicago, my town, the swingers town around. Get out, come on, get out, come on, get out now, come on, get out.
Yeah, that's Chicago there. That group called the Citations. Citations there, May 1964 release on the Mercury record label. Chicago, the name of the tune. They have another one on the print. It came out on the Princess label. Also, that one also came out on the Roulette record label. Got to say hello to a couple people tuned in. Santi listening over in Miami. Santi, thank you so much for your email. And my high school friend Robert Neal, thank you for tuning in, Robert Neal. Also in Florida, and a couple people in the YouTube chat room there. I know Nat's from Florida. Anybody else in there from Florida? The nice warm weather down in Florida. It's cold here. It's going to snow tomorrow. I'm not ready for that. I have to go to my doctor. I have a physical on Monday, and I don't want to have to plod through the snow. Anyway, Johnny G here, babbling on. Let's continue here. Now, this next singer was the lead singer of the 1950s group, the Juniors. Had the original version of I Promise to Remember that came out on the Wing label back in 56, but he went solo in 1962. He had his first hit in early 67, his first solo hit on the Smash label. It was called Hey Leroy, Your Mama's Calling You. And this was his follow-up, his second of four on Smash Records. And we go to March of 1967 for Jimmy Castor. Jimmy Castor on the Smash label. It's called Just You Girl.
A poor man wants money he can spend. A rich man just wants to find a friend. Oh, I don't want a
That's not a Jimmy Castor tune that you hear often there. That's a cool tune. March 1967, the second of four on Smash Records for Jimmy Castor. Just You Girl is the name of that one. Now, his biggest hit would be in 1972 on the RCA record label. It was called Troglodyte Caveman, a big number 6 Billboard hit. Did you buy that 45 when it came out back then? Well, guess what? I got it. I didn't buy it. I got it for 10 cents. Yes, I did. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here for a Saturday evening as we continue now. And here's a flip side from the last 60s show. I featured a group called the Washington DC's, although they were not from Washington, D.C. They were from the UK. And I played their date single, the A-side. It was called 32nd Floor. Let's give a listen to the flip side before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. This is from December 1966. It features Barry Fitzgerald on lead. These are the Washington DC's on the date label. It's called A Whole Lot More. B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Washington, D.C.'s, December 1956. That's the flip side of 32nd Floor, a song entitled A Whole Lot More. That one came out on the date record label Barry Fitzgerald. He's on lead. Going to get a whole lot more of Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure 45s here, all 60s, as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, I have no information about this next artist, but he goes by the name of Chris. K-R-I-S. That's all I got on this record. Now, he has this lone single that came out on the Mala label. Now, the writers of the tune are Rudy Clark. We know him. Now, Ralph Bailey, he was a member of the 1950s group, the Cadillacs, and someone by the name of Johnny Northern. So let's give this one a spin. We go back to February 1967 for this singer by the name of Chris. It's on Mala Records. It's called Everything. That artist goes by the name of Chris, K-R-I-S. Don't know who he is, but as a February 67 release on the Mala record label, a song entitled Everything. Johnny G brings you everything on Saturday evenings from 10 to midnight. Everything 45, that is, as we continue here with another 45 my aunt purchased in the summer of 1966. Now, this group is from Cleveland, Ohio. They signed with Capitol Records to release 9 on that label. This was their third and the group's second biggest hit. As a matter of fact, Johnny G is good for about 1 or 2 hits a show, and it's a cover song of an Isley Brothers tune from 1959. It features Sonny Geraci on lead. This was this one here from July 1966. Give a listen to the Outsiders on Capitol with their rendition of the tune Respectable.
She never, never, ever been kissed. What kind of girl is this? Robert was dumped up. What kind of girl is this? She never, never been in love. What kind of girl? She's never been at a watching the stars above. Hey, tell me what kind of girl is this? What kind of girl is this? She never been out on a date. What kind of girl is this? What kind of girl is this? What kind of girl is this? She's never ever come home late. What kind of girl is this? But I bet
That record brings back memories. My aunt used to play that 45. She bought hits too, she did. Outsiders there, July 1966. That was number 15 on the Billboard charts, 13 on the Cashbox charts, a big number 2 on WAVX. Out of New Haven, Connecticut, those are the Outsiders with Respectable. As we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show, let's send this next song out to our TSO Sunday night DJ, Mr. Dave the Rave. It's on the Minute record label, Minute number 32034. So if Dave the Rave is listening, he's got to check his Minute listing of 45s. And this artist I often feature on my 1950s show. His name is Vernon Green, and he's being backed up here by the Medallions. The song written by Vernon's brother, his name is Jimmy Green. Let's go to December of 1967 for Vernon Green and the Medallions. It's on the Minute label, as I mentioned. It's called Look at Me, Look at Me.
I told all my friends that I would never fall in love. And no one girl could ever make me a puppy love. My heart times have changed ever since I heard your name. Listen to me, darling, can't you see? My head's in a spin, what a bad shape I'm in. Look at me, look at me. listen to me. Darling, can't you see? My head's in a spin, what a bad shape I'm in. Look at me. Look at me. Ooh, oh, you got me spinning, yeah. Now what you gonna do? Yeah, I never did believe. No, I never did believe. No, that I can ever fall.
The fun part of collecting used to be to go to flea markets or garage sales to find 45s. I went to the Orangeburg 303 Drive-In Flea Market sometime in the late 1970s, and you walk around and you find a record like that on the Minute label for 10 cents. Get a cool record like that. That's what I paid for that record. Luckily, got that record for 10 cents. But that's Vernon Green and the Medallions, December 1967 on the Minute record label. Look at me, look at me. Yes, you can look at Johnny G in the YouTube chat room there and the webcam. Say hi to all those tuned in there. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, I did not pay 10 cents for this next record. I will definitely tell you that. But let's stay out on the West Coast. We go to Lou Bedell's Era record label for this 45 by this artist by the name of Melvin Boyd. Melvin Boyd, this tune written by Barry Stewart, who also gets credit on the Jewel Akins song, a tune of The Birds and the Bees, but Barry Stewart is really an alias for Herb Newman, who was part owner of the Era label with Lou Bedell. Now, Herb also wrote the big hit for Gogi Grand, if you know, The Wayward Wind, but he wrote that tune, and he also wrote this tune for Melvin Boyd. This one charted number 39 on WTMP in Tampa, Florida. Let's go to October 1966. Melvin Boyd on Era. It's called Exit Loneliness, Enter Love.
I
Yes, that tune written by the same guy that wrote The Wayward Wind. That's Melvin Boyd, their October 1966 release on the Era record label. Exit Loneliness, Enter Love. Johnny G not exiting. Not till at least 12 midnight and probably longer. I've been here the last few shows, been here till about 1 o'clock in the morning. 3 hours of the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's continue here. Up next, this gal by the name of Anna Craig. She had 2 releases. One came out on the Decca label. This is her other one on 20th Century Fox, written by Joe Armstead, who had her own releases, and Gregory Carroll, who was a member of the Four Buddies on Savoy, also the Dappers on the Groove record label. This one goes back to October 1964. Anna Craig on 20th Century Fox with a song entitled Nobody Loves Me. That's the sound of Anna Craig here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That one there from October 1964 came out on the 20th Century Fox record label. Nobody Loves Me is the name of that one. Everybody loves you when you tune into the Vinyl Treasure Show with Johnny G as we continue here. And this next song was produced by Bright Tunes Productions. That means it's a publishing company owned by the Tokens. Now, it's on the Warner Brothers record label. This group is called The Big Guys. It was written by Kenneth Ruffin, who I think is doing lead on this one here. Kenneth Ruffin, I think, is on lead June 67. As we go to Warner Brothers Records, give a listen to The Big Guys. The Big Guys with Hang My Head and Cry.
Try to make a big hit with you, but you just act like you don't care. And by acting that way, it's too much for me to bear. So I hang my head and cry, and let the pain grow deeper inside. Ooh, hang my head and cry, and let the tears wash away my pride. Try to find someone else and leave you, girl, picking yourself. But by caring for you the way that I do,
Johnny G leaning soul tonight here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to send a lot of these soul tunes out to a UK listener, Brian. He's been checking out my 60s videos and he's makes some fine comments on my 60s show. So Brian, hope you're digging on a lot of the cool sides I'm featuring this evening. He says he hears some things for the first time, and I really appreciate when he makes his comments. It really makes your host, Johnny G, feel really good about the show, as I always do when I do it. I enjoy doing the show, as if you can tell, yes. And we just heard from June of 67, the big guys there, the big guys on the Warner Brothers record label, Hang My Head and Cry, a little bit in there. It sounded like The Lion Sleep Tonight, some little excerpt there, but that featured a Kenneth Ruffin on lead. I think he was the lead singer. Now, Kenneth Ruffin has a solo release on the Carnival label that is quite good. You can check that one out. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, now a few 60s shows ago, I played a 45 by this Philadelphia artist by the name of Joe Graves. I played the B-side of his Parkway record, the first of two he had on Parkway. It was called That's How a Boy and Girl Falls in Love. So let's give a listen to the A side of the 45, as this one charted regionally. This was number 16 on WWIN in Baltimore, Maryland. Let's go back to September of 1966 for Mr. Joe Graves. Joe Graves on Parkway, and his tune is called Debbie.
Oh, baby, baby, oh, baby. Oh, my sweet Debbie. Oh, Debbie, don't you know that I'm in love with you? You know I wanna settle down. I wanna stop this running around. Oh, Debbie, my little Debbie, sweet Debbie, my little Debbie, Debbie, my little Debbie, oh my, oh, Debbie, 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 oh my baby, Debbie, I love you, Debbie. Oh, Debbie, don't you know that you were created for me? Oh, baby, just sure there's stars up above. Wanna make some worthy of your love, Debbie. My little Debbie, my Debbie, my little Debbie, sweet Debbie, my little Debbie, oh, Debbie, Debbie, I love you, Debbie, Debbie, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know I wanna settle down. I wanna stop this running around. Oh, Debbie, my little Debbie, let's take me, Debbie, my little Debbie, my little Debbie, oh, Debbie, come on, I got to tell you, oh, Debbie, Debbie,
That's out of Philadelphia. That's Joe Graves is his name. September 66 release. That's on the Parkway label. That's the first of two on Parkway. That's the A side, a song entitled Debbie. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, I rarely do a mystery oldie contest, and I know Dave the Rave was pretty big with his mystery oldie contest, but Let's give a list. Let's try it here for this one, and I'm just going to play the record. You can type it in. I don't have any strict rules, and I'm going to probably guess that Randy will get this right because he usually does, but we'll see if he gets it first. But you can type it in the YouTube chat or the Top Shelf Oldies chat room, or you can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. And let me see, I'm up on Facebook also. You can send me an instant message there too. So tell me, who's doing this tune here, this one right now?
It's so nice to have dreams that will last just a lifetime when they're made by a love so true. And you thrill to a touch, and this means oh so much when you're in love. It's so much, oh yeah. You're in love. Say it again. It's so much, oh.
Come on, guys. I thought you would have gotten this record. Come on. You don't know that? You want me to say, well, let me check to see if anybody else said anything here about that record. Let me see. Nobody there. We had guesses starting out sounding like Wisdom of a Fool. Doesn't sound familiar. Fred doesn't think it sounds familiar. We had Randy said in chat, here's some guesses here. We had Jeff thought it was the Shirelle. No, that was not that. So Randy said Otis Clay. Ramtown Mike said Billy Vera. Then Randy said the Mojo Men. Then Jeff said the Falcons. Then that was it. Nobody else has a guess. Nobody knows that group. It was on the Capitol record label, and this group was best known for a monster hit they had on the Rampart record label, Chris Kenner's Land of a Thousand Dances. Do you know who that was? That was Cannibal and the Headhunters. Cannibal and the Headhunters. They have a lot of cool records on the Rampart label, by the way. But this one was on Capitol. Initially, it came out in late 1968 on the Aries label. Then in January 1969, came out on Capitol Records. Frank Garcia on lead. Yes, that was it. Anyway, did I stump you people? Yes, I did. I did stump you guys. That was Cannibal and the Headhunters. It was called Mean So Much was the name of that one. First came out on the Aries label. I played it on the Capitol label. Johnny G stumps. I never do. I never stump you guys because you are very good when it comes to this music, especially the TSO listeners. They are really smart listeners. They are. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we head to Detroit, Michigan for this next group. They're called 20 Grands. TWENTIEGRANS. Now, first pressings of this one for you collectors out there came out as The Players, but they had to change the name of the group because there was another Players group that recorded for Minute Records, made the record company, Columbia Records, change their name. So they changed it to the 20 Grands, probably for that Detroit 20 Grand Club. But anyway, let's give it a spin here. August 67, featuring it by the 20 Grands. I also have it by the Playboys, by the way, on Columbia Records. It's called Guilty.
A jury trial for we just wasting time. Lock me up, throw away the key, keep me for 1,000,000 years, if that's the penalty. You see, I can afford wear silk and such, and I can't buy her the thing she wants so very much. But she still give me love and respect, and this kind of love a man can't forget. That's why I'm guilty. I'm so guilty. She's one in 1,000,001. I'll be guilty of loving this girl till my life is done. I'm so guilty. I'm so guilty. I'm guilty. Yes, I'm guilty. Lock me up. Throw away the key. Keep me for 1,000,000 years. If that's the penalty.
August 67 there for the 20 Grands. 20 Grands, a.k.a. the Players. Actually, first by the Players, then became the 20 Grands. Columbia Records there. Song entitled Guilty. As we continue here on the All 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show, we do it the last Saturday of every month. Let's stay in Detroit for this local singer that had releases on both the Carla and the Karen labels. This is the B-side to his first release on the Carlton label, arranged by Dale Warren, who was the nephew of Berry Gordy Jr.'s second wife, Raynoma. And his name is Jimmy Delphs. This one from July of 67 on the Carla label. Jimmy Delphs with I've Been Fooled Before.
Things don't have to come from dreams, and because you wear a crown don't mean that you a queen. You think you got me fooled, but I don't care no more, 'cause I've been fooled, baby. Before, selfish one, the way you wear your hair, not the only style in town, 'cause the girl next door, one that style around, and the fancy clothes and shoes you wear don't make you everything, and I won't be fooled. house and I live in wood, but that don't make my wooden house lasting good. You might think you have everything, but the sadness on your face, baby, will reach a different thing. Selfish one, baby, without love, how can you expect a dream when you know deep down inside, without love you're not a thing. Underneath those fancy clothes you wear, I can plainly see that you, baby, you got a heart like me. Selfish one, you got a heart like me. Baby, you got a heart like me. Selfish one, you got a heart like me. Baby, you got a heart like me. Selfish one, I don't mind doing a few
In July 1967, they're on the Carla label for Jimmy Delfs. Jimmy Delfs with I've Been Fooled Before. That is the B-side to his first release on the Carla record label. I think the flip is like a ballad. I think it's called Almost, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yes, Almost is the name of that one. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. Here's another 45 my aunt purchased back in the fall, but of 1968. Now, this singer started back in 1954 as a member of the Five Echoes, but he went solo in 1961. Now, this is the B-side to his 9th release on Stax, and the A-side was a big hit for him. You all know the tune, I'm pretty sure. It was called Who's Making Love. She bought it for that side, but she also played the flip side. She played both sides of this 45 as we go to September of 1968 for Johnny Taylor. Johnny Taylor on Stax. You flip over Who's Making Love. You get this cool B-side, a song entitled I'm Trying.
Baby, I'm trying, I'm trying. And if I'm not there when you need talking to, baby, I'm trying, I'm trying. Every day in the week I need 7 days just to love you in so many ways. I'm trying. Baby, can't you see I'm trying? Oh yeah. And if I don't please you and give you all you need, I'm trying, I'm trying. You know you mean the whole world to me, and that's what keeps me trying. I'm trying. I may not provide all you entitled to, but deep down in my soul, that's what I want to do. I'm trying. Baby, can't you see I'm trying? Oh yeah. No stumbling blocks can block my path. Whatever I got, I'll run and give you half. And in the world, if I don't succeed, let there be problems. You and me. If I don't love you like you want me to, baby, I'm trying, I'm trying. If I'm not there when you need talking to, baby, I'm trying, I'm trying. I may not provide all you're entitled to, but deep down in my soul, that's what I wanna do. I'll keep on trying. Baby, can't you see I'm trying? Oh yes, I am, girl. I'm trying. Lord have mercy. Can't you see that I'm trying? Every day when I get up and go to work, I'm trying. I'm trying to make you happy. Lord, I'm trying.
I'm I'm gonna have to do a all '60s edition dedicated to Mary, because she had some really cool B-sides and records from the 1960s that she used to listen to. That was one of them there. The B-side of Who's Making Love, Johnny Taylor there, September 1968. I'm Trying is the name of that one on the Stax record label. Johnny G trying to spin cool '60s 45s. Hopefully you heard something new tonight that you really like. So let's continue here. You all know this next gal. She had a big #1 hit back in 1962 called The Locomotion on the Dimension record label, but this is her 9th and final release on Dimension. Now, the A-side of this was a song called Wake Up John, but I like the B-side better. This one arranged and conducted by Charlie Colello. This one from February 65. Give a listen to Little Eva. Little Eva on Dimension. It's called Taking Back What I Said.
I'll never climb a mountain for you, not for you. I'll never swim the river for you, that will never do. Since you said goodbye and you made me cry, taking back what I said. Rather be dead than to go on loving you. I'll never catch a moonbeam for you, nevermore. I'll never steal the starlight for you, baby, that's for sure. Since you made me blue and said we were through, taking back what I said. Rather be dead than to go on loving you. Who else could give you all of those wonderful things? Wonderful things. But to find out what you're missing, you'll go running back to me. But I'll never try those teardrops for you, nevermore. I'll never make your mountain sky blue, baby, that's for sure. Since you said goodbye and you made me cry, I'm taking back what I said. Rather be dead than to go on loving you. Since you said goodbye and you made me cry, I'm taking back what I said. Rather be dead than to go on loving you. I'm taking back what I said. Rather be dead than to go on loving you.
February 1965 release there for Little Eva. Little Eva, and Hi-Fi Tim says that is a TSO classic. Yes, it is. Little Eva with Taking Back What I Said. It's on the Dimension record label. I have this record 3 ways. I played a maroon copy. I have a dark blue copy. I don't think I have a painted on label, and I think I have a white promo. Johnny G needs his head examined. Yes, he does. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, I mentioned earlier, I had a twin spin earlier in the show with Billy Butler and the Four Enchanters. How about another twin spin this time with this artist by the name of Chuck Jackson, was a member of the Dell Vikings, but he went solo in 1959. Now, up first is his 17th of 30 releases on the Wand label, and one of these records has some distortion. I don't know, they're both on styrene. One plays really nice, and the other one, they look stone mint, but you know how Johnny G feels about styrene 45s. I do not love styrene 45s. I hate styrene 45s, I do. But this one arranged by Stanley Applebaum. This one charted number 50 on Cashbox, 46 on Billboard, number 18 on the R&B chart, but a big number 7 on KATZ in St. Louis, Missouri. Then we're going to follow it up with his 23rd on Wand. But let's give a listen to this one from July 65, Chuck Jackson with If I Didn't Love You.
You ask me, do I love you? That's a silly question. Listen. If I didn't love you, would I call every day? If I didn't love you, would I act this way? So why do you ask? Do I really love you? When it's really so clear, even strangers can see that I do. If I didn't love you, would I worry so about your every move when you come and you go? So just ask yourself, would I waste my time if I didn't love you? Would I hope and pray you'd be just for your touch, would I be a slave and for your charm? If I didn't love you, would I be right here in your arms? If I didn't love you, baby. If I didn't love you, sweetie. If I didn't love you. Down inside, here comes the hurt I'll always have. Here comes the life that's oh so sad. But I know I got to be strong, 'cause I know I got to carry on. But there goes the girl that broke my heart. There goes the girl that tore it apart. I know I've got to be strong. I know I gotta carry on, but there goes the picture from my wall. The guy that's gotta live down the hall. Here are the cigarettes that she left. Even got her earrings laying on my chest. But I know I got to be strong, 'cause I know I got to carry on. But there goes the girl that broke my heart. There goes the girl that tore it all apart. I know I've got to be strong. I know I got to carry on. I want my baby, baby, baby. I'm looking for my baby, baby. I know I've got to be strong. I know I gotta carry on. Lord have mercy, I gotta have my, I know she's down the hall.
That's a twin spin for Chuck Jackson there. That one, October 66 release. I've Got to Be Strong is the name of that one on the Juan label. That's his 23rd of 30 releases. This one charted number 23 on WYLD out of Cleveland, Ohio, arranged by Tommy K. And the one we heard earlier was called If I Didn't Love You. And that one there from July 65 on the Juan label. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s out of my collection. It's all 1960s. The last Saturday of every month. And I can't tell you much about this next group, but I'm guessing they're out of New York City. I like both sides of this 45. It's on the Heidi label, but the song is a killer soulful ballad. Great group harmony, soulful group harmony ballad here, arranged and conducted by Bert Burns. This group is called the Yeomans. It's their only release from September 1965. Let's give it a spin. The Yeomans on Heidi. It's called I'm the Guy.
His love, can't you see it in my eyes? Gee, I feel like I want to cry. Doobie-doo. Ooh, I'm the guy, and I have a broken heart. Would never part. Can't you see it in my eyes? Gee, I feel like I want to cry. I don't want to be alone.
Group called the Yeomans. The Yeomans on the Heidi label. Not many records on that Heidi label, but lots of cool records on that label. September 65, I'm the Guy is the name of the tune. Johnny G's the Guy every Saturday from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Got some cool records out of my collection as we continue here. Now here's a later one by a group that formed at Harvest Baptist Church around 1960 out Chicago way. They had 18 releases on the Chess label. Here is their 15th. It features Mitchell Bullock on lead. This one charted number 40 on WMBM out of Miami, Florida, and they're covering a 1958 hit by the Monotones. This one from September 69. Give a listen to the Radiance on Chess with their rendition of the Monotones' Book of Love. We can't do that. There.
Oh, I wonder, 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 wonder. Wonder, 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 wonder.
All right, tell me, baby, who wrote the book of love? Like
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, 60s edition there for the Radiance. September 1958, the Monotones tune The Book of Love on Chess Records. Their biggest hit was a song called Voice Your Choice in 1964 on the Chess record label. Johnny G here spinning 1960s 45s. Go back to Philadelphia for Billy and the Essentials. It's the second of two they recorded on the Smash label, a song that co-written by Billy Carlucci, and this one produced by Joe Veneri and Richard Grasso. And Billy Carlucci, he's on lead. This one from November 66, Billy and the Essentials. It's on Smash. It's called Baby Go Away. November 66 there for Billy and the Essentials on the Smash label. Second of two, song he co-wrote, Baby Go Away is the name of that tune. Now, they had two more releases on the SSS International, and later Carlucci became the lead singer of a group called the Heat Waves, with releases on the Josie label and on the Philtown label as we continue here. Now, this next singer goes by the name of Alan Vallone. I think that's how you say it, V-A-L-L-O-N-E, but his real name was Alan Sykes. He had several releases in the early 60s, mostly on the Philips label, but also on small labels like the VCP label. But this is the B-side to his third release on the Philips label. This one arranged and conducted by Alan Lauber. Let's go to August of 1964 for Alan Vallone on Philips Records. It's called You Have No Right.
Everything when you placed another king upon
That's the third release on the Phillips label for Alan Vallone. Alan Vallone from August 64. You Have No Right is the name of the tune there as we continue here on the All 60s edition. Now, when I first heard this next song, I said that this singer reminds me of B.J. Thomas. He sounds so much like B.J. Thomas. Well, after some research and on this artist and this song, he's actually covering a B.J. Thomas tune, which was the B-side to a record that BJ put out on Scepter called Mama, a song called Wendy, but the title is slightly changed on this Verve 45. It's called Wendy Come Home. It's from March of 68 here, and it's by Jeff Goodson and the Quarter Note Triplets. This is by Jeff Goodson and the Quarter Note Triplets on the Verve label from March 68, and he called this tune Wendy Come Home.
Tell me what's wrong. Whoa, Wendy's gone. Tell me what's wrong. I said Wendy's gone. Have you told her that you love her? Yeah. Yes, I told her that I love her. Have you told her that you need her? Yeah. Yes, I told her that I need her in a thousand ways. I never ever leave her in a million days. Oh, when will Wendy come home? Tell me what's wrong. Whoa, Wendy's gone. Tell me what's wrong. Whoa, Wendy's gone. Have you told her that you love her? Yeah. Yes, I told her that I love her. Have you told her that you need her? Yeah. Yes, I told her that I need her in a thousand ways. I never ever leave her in a million days. Oh, when will Wendy come home? I need you. I need you so bad. I love you. Tried with you. Oh, but that didn't do. She found someone new. You know that isn't true. Have you called her on the phone? Yeah. Yes, I called her on the phone. Have you told her you're alone? Yeah. Yes, I told her that I'm alone and I'm feeling blue. Since you went away, I don't know what I'll do. When will Wendy come home? Wendy come home. Wendy come home.
I guess we can call that a cover tune there. Looks Mint plays crappy, that's for sure. Jeff Goodson and the Quarter Note Triplets, March 68, Wendy Come Home. It's a cover of B.J. Thomas's Wendy, that one there on the Verve record label. Now here's a B-side from last month's All 60s show. I featured this girl group called the Carolines with Can't Stop Lovin' the Boy on Morris Levy's Roulette record label. Let's flip the 45 over before it goes back down in the no humidity basement. This one features Carol Mancuso on lead. We go back to October 1966. Roulette Records. Give a listen to the Carolines, and it's called You're My Baby.
You're my baby, and I want the world to know it. You're my baby, don't you be afraid to show it.
October 66 release. They're called the Carolines. The Carolines on the Roulette record label. You're My Baby is the name of the tune. That's actually the B-side. The A-side was called Can't Stop Lovin' the Boy. Now, after this release, they would record as the Little Bits on the Dyna Voice record label. I have featured that 45 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's continue now. Up next, a song penned by Van McCoy. Now, some of you might know a wonderful cover of this song is done by Kenny Young on the Cher label in 1969. But let's give a listen to the original version of this as done by this group called the Jades. The Jades, they were out of Los Angeles, California. Not to be confused with the girl group called the Jades that recorded for Imperial. This is a male group. This one from August 68. The Jades on Capitol with a tune called Ain't It Funny What Love Can Do.
A brave man's soul. It takes a whole lot of power, yeah, to make a strong man fall. And baby, it takes a mighty good reason to make a proud man get down and crawl. But here I am. On my knees crawling to you. Ain't it funny what love can do? Ain't it funny what love can do? It takes a whole lot of pain to make a big man weak. It takes a lot of convincing, yeah, to make a wise man leave. And baby, it takes a whole lot to make a hard-working man go without sleep. But here I am, leaving and losing my sleep over you. Ain't it funny what love can do? Ain't it so baby? Yeah, I just wanna tell you, baby, alright. Ooh, baby, it takes a whole lot to touch an unsentimental mere such as I. But here I am, wishing and sighing, and every night crying for you. Ain't it funny what love can do? Ain't it funny what love can do? It makes a brave man strong. Oh yes it does. It makes a strong man fall.
That's the original version of that tune by the Jades, August 68 release, Capitol Records. Ain't It Funny What Love Can Do? The 1969 release by Kenny Young, also a great tune, which I think I like a little bit better than that, but they're both good in my opinion. Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45s, 1960 style. Let's head back to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for another girl group. Initially, they recorded as the Yum Yums on the ABC Paramount record label of 45 that I don't have. I know Dave the Rave has that 45. I do not. But then they became Honey and the Bees. They had 5 releases on the Arctic label. Let's give a spin to their second. It's features Nadie Felder Onley. Let's go to June of 1968 for Honey and the Bees. This one on the Arctic label. It's called Why Do You Hurt the One Who Loves You?
After all the sweet, sweet loving I gave to you, baby.
June 1968 there for Honey and the Bees on the Arctic label. A song entitled Why Do You Hurt the One Who Loves You is the name of that one. They have later releases on the Josie label and also on the Bell label. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we are in Vinyl Treasure overtime, 1 minute into overtime, so you know Johnny G goes for a little bit more at least. Now, believe it or not, this next singer dates back to 1950 with releases on the Decca record label. Now, here he is 15 years later, but with lots of releases in between. But this was his biggest hit, his 6th of 9 for the MPAC label out of Chicago, Illinois. Now, this was number 31 on the Billboard R&B chart, a big number 4 on WJMO out of Cleveland, Ohio. Let's go back to July of 1965 for Harold Burridge. Harold Burridge on MPAC. It's called Got to Find a Way.
Tell me, why did you have to go? Said I got to find a way to get you back. I gotta find a way to get you back. There's a dark cloud and it's hanging over my head. Sometimes I wish I was dead, yeah. But I gotta find a way. I just gotta find me a way. Yeah, said I gotta find a way to get you back. I can't stand it no more. Baby, tell me, why did you have to go? Now listen, I want to tell you something. Sleep, but thinking about you, I walk to the floor every day. I get down on my knees and I pray, and I can't stand being alone. Without your love, I can't go on. So baby, please hear my plea and bring your love on home to me, 'cause I can't stand this pain no longer, 'cause my love for you keep getting stronger. Said I got to find a way. Lord, I just gotta find me a way. Yeah, yeah. Said I gotta find a way to get my baby back. I can't stand it no more. Sometimes I wonder, why did you have to go? I said I'm going out there and I gotta ask somebody. I gotta ask somebody. Where is my baby? But I got to find a way. Got to find a way. I 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 got to find a way. Got to find a way to get my baby back. I don't care what I'm gonna do right now, but I got to find a way.
That's another cool tune there. Harold Burridge is his name. July 65 release. Got to Find a Way is the name of that one. Came out on the MPAC record labels. We move on here. On the 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show, go back to the girl group sound here and back to Detroit, Michigan, as these girls were discovered while doing background vocals for Deion Jackson's 1966 hit Love Makes the World Go Round. This trio consisted of Sharon and Sandra Gambrell and another gal, Patricia Hunt. Collectively, they were known as the Gambrells. Now, this is the B-side to their release on the Cub label from February 1968. Give a listen to the Gambrells. This is the B-side. It's called I'm in Love Again for the First Time.
And it's not like all alone.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Gambrels' February 68 release on the revived Cub label, the resurrected Cub Records, and they changed the logo style and everything there. I'm in Love Again for the first time. That was the B-side. The A-side was a ballad. It was called Love in the Air. And that is that. As we continue here on the All 60s edition. Now, you know how sometimes I touch 1963? Well, now we're going to touch the early 70s, 1971 for this singer from Harlem, New York. First recorded on the Vando label in 1967. Had a national hit called The Sweetest Thing This Side of Heaven. Had also a couple of releases on the Buddha label, but this was his last release that came out on the Musicore label, and I'm playing the intended B-side of the 45. Came out in May of 1971. His name is Chris Bartley. Chris Bartley, this is on Musicore Records. It calls Tomorrow Keeps Shining on Me.
To never stop, building up speed ever since the top. Bumps are getting harder, more I roll, but I don't care. Don't feel it at all. Working up a sweat, trying to roll up the stream. It can be as hard as building a dream, but I keep moving on, laughing at heartaches till they're gone. And tomorrow keeps shining on me. A memory. Waking up at dawn 'cause I need the time for the next year.
That doesn't sound like a 70s record to me, no, but it's early. Maybe you definitely can get that sound in the early 1970s. That is Chris Bartley. Chris Bartley from May 71 on the Musicore record label. Tomorrow Keeps Shining on Me. Yes, it does. Let's continue. Played a lot of records on the Smash label, if you notice. Had a vein of Smash 45s I pulled out of the No Humidity basement. But up next, a singer, songwriter, producer from Louisville, Kentucky. Initially, he recorded as Prince Philip, an alias for Leroy Philip Mitchell, and this was his debut 45. It was a Dan Penn Spooner Oldham Penn tune as we go to the Smash record label from March 1968. Give a listen to Prince Philip. Prince Philip on Smash. It's called Keep On Talkin'.
You say you need love.
His name is Prince Phillips. Prince Phillips on the Smash record label. Keep On Talking is the name of the tune. March 1968 released his real name, Leroy Phillip Mitchell. And he wrote tunes like Starting All Over Again for Mel and Tim, and also It Hurts So Good for Millie Jackson. Also recorded in the 70s as Phillip Mitchell. Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And we continue here for this next gal, originally from Philadelphia, but started singing in gospel groups in the early 1960s. She went solo in 1965. She signed with Mercury Records. Here's the second of two on the Mercury label, written by Lou Courtney. This one arranged by Ray Glover. Let's give a listen to Lorraine Ellison. Lorraine Ellison from February 66 on the Mercury label. It's called Call Me Anytime You Need Some Lovin'.
Call me anytime you need some loving. Hey, baby. When the girl you've been seeing behind my back don't wanna see you no more, and you go around to a sugar shack, but she won't let you in the door. Baby, just stop. Remember your mind. I won't ever leave you behind, baby. So you can call me anytime you need some loving. Hey, yeah, baby. When you make a pass at some new girl and she turns her back on you, and you call all of your old time flings, but they don't wanna speak to you. Baby, just stop. Remember your mind. 'Cause I told you a million times, baby, that you can call me anytime you need some loving. Hey, baby. When you bump into some of your friends and everybody's got a date, don't feel bad at all, little boy, 'cause it's never gonna be too late. Baby, just stop. Remember your mind. I'll be ready all the time. Baby, you can call me anytime you need some loving. Yeah, baby. Call me, boy. Yeah, call me, baby. I said you call me.
That's Lorraine Ellison. Lorraine Ellison on the Mercury record label. February 1966, Call Me Anytime You Need Some Lovin' is the name of that tune. And later in 1966, she signed with Warner Brothers Records. And through the 1970s, believe it or not, but unfortunately she died on January 31st, 1983. From ovarian cancer. She was only 51 years old. Left us with some cool records for sure. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We are in overtime, and some people getting to bed. And again, we lost a couple people in the chat room. Got to say goodnight to Brian, and thank you for sticking around, Brian, and cleaning up all your records around your desk. You see our Johnny G's mess here of 45s, but let's continue with a few more. And this next artist was from Arkansas originally, but he moved to Compton, California. First recorded for the Manessa record label back in 1964, but in 65 he signed with VJ Records for 3 releases, and this was his second. This one charted 95 on Billboard, 93 on Cashbox, number 12 on the R&B charts, but a big number 5 on KATZ out of St. Louis, Missouri. This one, give a listen to Fred Hughes, August 1965 on VJ Records. It's called You Can't Take It Away.
sunny day, the clouds can come and take it away. A clear view from a window pane can soon end with the drops of rain. But this love I have for you, yeah, you can't take it away, no. It's planted so deep, so deep. It's here to stay, yeah, and no power can take it away. In the song of the birds they play, winter comes and they fly away. April fades for the month of May. Mother Nature, she planned it that way. But this love I have for you, yeah, you can't take it away, no. It's planted so deep, so deep. It's here to stay, yeah, and no power can take it away.
You can't take the blue from blue.
And they can't take me from you. Like still, baby, my love won't be. Like Father Time, it just won't end. This love I have for you, yeah, it can't take it away, no. It's planted so deep, so deep.
Yeah, that is really cool tune, Andrew. I agree with you there. That is Fred Hughes. Fred Hughes from August 1965 on the VJ record label. You Can't Take It Away is the name of that one. And he would have later releases on the Cadet and Brunswick record labels. We are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime with some lot of soul records tonight that I'm featuring, and I love playing these records. And here's another girl group as we head back to Detroit, Michigan, and it's their first of two on the Mercury label. They were called the Shelfantes. They actually phonetically spell it on the label, SHELL-FON-TAYS, but it's spelled CHALFONTES, the Shelfantes. And this group managed by LeBron Taylor, a.k.a. Bill Sharpley, who was a disc jockey, songwriter, and producer, and owner of the Revelot and Solid Hit labels. Now, he named this group after a street in Detroit. It's produced and arranged also by Andre Williams. The 1950s Andre Williams and the $5 would back him up on a lot of those Devorah Brown Fortune records. Yes. Let's go to May of 1965 for the Shelfantes on Mercury. It's called Much Too Much for Comfort.
I love you much too much for comfort. For comfort. And I need you much too
group called the Shelfantes, May 1965 release on the Mercury record label. Much Too Much for Comfort is the name of that one, the first of two on Mercury. I like to get those vinyl Mercuries with the nice hard vinyl, not the crappy styrene. Well, this next record is on styrene, but I think it plays okay. And it's a trio from Branford, Connecticut. They were Dennis, Frank, and Bobby McGowan. They recorded as the McGowan Boys. They had two releases on the Warner Brothers record label. This is their first. It was written by Doug Lapham, who would later on join them in the 1970s when they became known as Farquhar. I think that's how you pronounce that. But this song produced and arranged by Jerry Ragavoy, and this one charted number 34 on WAVZ out of New Haven, Connecticut. We go to June of 1966 for the McGowan Boys on Warner Brothers, and their tune called Daddy, I've Tried.
Dum, 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 daddy, dum, 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 daddy, dum. Daddy, I've tried and it ain't easy. Daddy, I've tried, Each time I look at you, I see that look upon your face. You smile and say, how you doing, boy? But you're hoping I found my place. I tried to build an engine and make the ruler slide. And maybe you don't believe me, but Daddy, I've tried and it ain't easy. Daddy, I've tried, I know you'd like to see me doing well, be on top, be the best. I'm walking in your living room, success. But the little parts of your one-time dream, and you could look at me with pride. I know I'm falling off one by one, but Daddy, I've tried, and it ain't easy. Daddy, I've tried, Dum, 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 Daddy, dum, 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 Daddy, dum. Can't say it like you can. Degrees and please on bended knees, Daddy, don't make a self-made man. And it's just as hard for me to feel that as a man I can't decide on what my life will be tomorrow. And Daddy, I've tried and it ain't easy. Daddy, I've tried and it ain't easy. Daddy, I've tried.
Hey, like that one there in the Top Shelf Oldies chat room. That's a nice mint styrene that plays pretty nice. The McGowan Boys, June 1966. Daddy, I've Tried is the name of that one. That's on Warner Brothers Records, and that was their first of two on Warner Brothers Records. And, of course, I have their other ones on Verve Forecast as the Fabulous Farquhar. I do. I didn't know who that was. Really, I didn't. I know they were in a bunch of 45s I had. But anyway, it's a cool tune. A styrene record that plays pretty nice, although this next styrene record doesn't play that nice. But I think it is an expensive 45, unfortunately. But I wasn't going to play it because this one is kind of crappy. But we're going to give it a spin here. It's on the Derby label. Now, this gal, her name is Jeannie Robertson, and this is her alone release, and she wrote the song. It's out of Los Angeles, California. We go back to August 1963. Jeannie Robertson on Derby Records. It's called Memories.
'Cause when I saw with that girl across town, that's I knew I would love. Finally found its bound, and all that's left now. All that's left now. All that's left now. All that's left now. Oh, honey, back to me. The memories of your many, many charms, your lips so close to mine. The cheating for you play, but darling, my heart's the same. Once again, you're my mind. Oh, baby, I can't take it. I can't take knowing you're around. When you're around, decided to make it. I've got to leave your town. All that's left now. All that's left now. Honey, back to me. Oh, honey, back to me. 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 Back to me.
Oh, crappy styrene 45 there. Jeannie Robertson there, August 1963. Great tune, but terrible press. Memories is the name of the tune. It's on the Derby record label. I know when he sold me that record, Barry Saltz, a long time ago, he goes, "John, it's a hard record," but I said, "Barry, it plays crappy. You got to give me a big discount." He did give me a discount on that 45. He definitely did. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't so expensive. But anyway, Johnny G babbling on here as we are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And up next, a group called the Del Capris. Initially, this 45 came out on the Ron Jordan label, which I think I saw a picture of it, this yellow label, and I think I have it on that label. I do. But it was picked up also by Kama Sutra, written by Jerome Arnold and Herb Larson. And I'm featuring the Kama Sutra press. We go to August of 1967. These are the Del Capris and their tune called Hey Little Girl.
Hey, little girl, why are you so sad? What did you do to make you feel so bad? I thought they must take you to the dance, but now I see that there ain't no chance. Hey, little girl, oh yeah. He went and left you all alone. All you could do is just sit and moan. I guess the best thing for you to do is try to find someone new. Woo! Yeah. He doesn't love you, this I know. He's only playing with your heart. He had it far, now it's time to go. I could have told you, oh yeah.
Featured it on the Kama Sutra label. They originally came out on the Ron Jordan label. The Del Capris from August 1967. Hey Little Girl is the name of the tune, as we are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Now, when I used to buy 45s over the phone from, actually it was three dealers I dealt with, and I told them, I said, look, if you have the same song on both sides, I really don't want to pay a lot of money for it because I'm kind of getting gypped. I only getting one side of the record. So I said, can you sell me these records that you have for $1? So it was like, well, no problem, Johnny. Any record that I have, a lot of the Columbias and a bunch of the other epics sometimes, normally with the later presses, the 70s and 80 presses, they would sell them to me for $1, but occasionally I'd get some mid-60s records that I can get for $1, and this one is one of them. There's a girl group sound. It came out on Shelby Singleton's Black Pearl label. Now, this song comes out on multiple variations on the Black Pearl label. Now, the copy I'm playing is Black Pearl number 102, and it's a promo with the same song on both sides. So this was originally issued in May of 67. I paid $1 for this one. The group is called The Inspirations. It was a tune written by Jerry Goffin and Russ Titleman. We go to May 1967 for The Inspirations on Black Pearl. It's called What Am I Gonna Do With You, Hey Baby. I think that side was used on a few of the flip sides by that group on the Black Pearl record label, May 67, released specifically for that one, Black Pearl number 102. The Inspirations with What Am I Gonna Do With You, Hey Baby is the name of that one. Johnny G winding down here on the Vinyl Treasure. Now here's a flip side from a few 60s shows ago. I featured the intended B-side of this 45 by a group called the Superlatives, came out on the Westbound record label, and I played the B-side. It was called Lonely in a Crowd. Now the A-side of this chart charted number 39 on the Billboard R&B charts. It was big, but a big number one record on WJLB and WCHB out of Detroit, Michigan. Also number one on KATZ in St. Louis, Missouri. It features Billy George Jones on lead. Let's go back to December of 1968. This is on the Westbound label. They're called the Superlatives. The long title on this one, it's called I Don't Know How, parentheses, to Say I Love You, close parentheses, Don't Walk Away. December 68 release for the Superlatives. Superlatives on the Westbound label. I Don't Know How to Say I Love You, Don't Walk Away is the name of that one. You should see how it's listed, how it comes out on the label. I'll show it to you in the YouTube chat room there. Johnny G got, I think, 2 or 3 more 45s to go before we sign off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's head back to Chicago, Illinois for this singer who in 1957 took the place of Perkle Lee Moses when he left the Eldorados. He sang lead on the For Eldorados release on the Academy label, and also when they were moonlighting as the Tempos on the Rhythm label. Now, he would eventually join the Artistics on the OK label and became the group's 4th lead singer. Now, he had some solo releases on the Brunswick label, but here he is doing lead, the first of 3, written by Barrett Strong. This one from August of 1966. His name is Marvin Smith. It's on Brunswick Records, and the song is called Have More Time.
I'm working 7 days a week. I get not one day of fun. I can't wait until the clock strikes 4. I count the hours one by one. A telephone call is not enough for me, 'cause with my sugar baby
That one there on the Johnny G losing his place there. That's Marvin Smith there, August 1966 on the Brunswick record label. Have More Time is the name of that tune. Wish Johnny G had more time. He's got 2 more 45s to go before we sign off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Up next, a girl group out of Waco, Texas. They formed while they were attending G.W. Carver High School, and the trio consisted of Paula Hardin, Samantha Harris, and the lead singer. Her name was Annie Johnson Alexander. This tune originally came out on the Toy label, but it was picked up nationally by Loma Records. I have it on Toy too, believe it or not. But anyway, it's produced by Dale Hawkins. It is actually a cover tune. It was first recorded by Linda Burns on the Tytex label in October 65. But let's give a listen to this version by the Dolls from March of 66. The Dolls on the Loma label. It's called The Reason Why. That tune, produced by Dale Hawkins, featured it on the Loma label, originally came out on the Toy label, March 1966, by the Dolls. The Dolls with their tune called The Reason Why. Well, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to my original vinyl 45s, and want to get in touch with me, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. I love to play these cool 1960s 45s out of my collection. We do it the last Saturday of every month, and it's really a treat for me. Hopefully you heard some cool tunes tonight that you never heard before, or at least that you liked. But I'll be back next Saturday with my 50s and early 60s edition. Got some requests to fill, I do. But we're going to close the show tonight with a group out of Newark, New Jersey. They have 2 releases on George Blackwell's Smoke label. We're going to close it with their first, arranged by Eddie Morris. This one written by group member Tim Nichols. It features Larry Breeden on lead. They're called the Exavations. No, the Exavayons. Exsaveyons. The Exavayons. If it's from September 67 on Smoke, it's called I Don't Love You No More. That is the closer. And that's going to do it for Johnny G tonight. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. It all begins at 9 o'clock here on Top Shelf Oldies, 9 to midnight for Dave the Rave and his Relics and Rarities show. Also, all the shows here on Top Shelf Oldies beginning at 8 p.m. during the week, and got lots of cool shows. So again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight and sticking with the show at this late hour. Thank you so much, Charlene. Again, last minute help for Johnny G, as I have my new phone now, my Motorola Android. I have to play around with it, I do. But that's going to do it, folks. And you can go to my YouTube account, Johnny G's Vinyl Treasures, and you can watch this again if you'd like to see the labels and whatnot. Or go to vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the shows there anytime you want. Again, that's going to do it, folks. Want everybody to have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday starting at 10 p.m. right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Just want to say, everybody, so long. Hey, folks, hold on, let me show you the Smoke record label. I don't know what this goes for, but I didn't pay a lot of money for it. This was another local record I found. Did I even say it right? Wait, let me hold it in there. The Exavans. I Don't Love You No More is the name of that one on the Smoke label. Anyway, folks, thanks a lot. Thank you all for sticking around tonight. Hope you dug the cool 60s records out of my collection. Lots of soul records tonight. I'll be back again, as I mentioned, next Saturday with more 50s and early 60s stuff. Again, those of you here on the East Coast, be careful of the snow. Those of you that don't have it, lucky you. But again, I will see you again next Saturday. Okay, take care, everybody. Just want to wish you all a good night and a great week. Bye-bye, folks.